Okay, so this is the Pacific Rim / US Scrum for June 9th. President Vijaya and myself. Vijaya, you want to give your update first?
Yeah, I updated all the pages based on your suggestion. You posted code in my chart, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and it's working, but it's not displaying any records.
Oh, okay.
No errors, but I did not see any pagination. Just only HTML uh, header is displaying.
Yeah, we can
Is
look
a
at that. Yeah.
okay.
So
And
just
if you have time, can you check on that story? What type of the aspect test we need for that one and Cucumber? Once we done this displaying the pagination, or we don't need any test for that.
it's a good question. We'll have to look at that.
Okay.
Okay. For myself, I put a PR in place yesterday and I updated it today that allows a job developer to assign a job seeker to themselves as a job developer. And as for it, I also added the capability for a case manager to assign a job seeker to themselves if the job seeker doesn't have a case manager. So job developer or case manager or both, if it's the same person with the same roles, can assign themselves to a job seeker in either of those roles. When they go and show the job seeker, that show view has that now. And that was about it for today. So, okay, so that's it for the stand-up then. You want to show me what you've got then, Vijay?
Yeah, I'll show it.
Okay.
This is my output page for the agency home page.
Okay. Oops.
Yeah, this is I think JavaScript unable to retrieve the intended page of the results.
So you're supposed to be seeing something under your job seeker's case manager, right?
Yeah,
Hmm.
I don't see the any data is there or not. I don't know. I did not check that one at the jobs. This case manager chats has any job seeker assigned in the admin portal. I did not check.
Okay. Well, see that
Okay,
little that pop up in the lower right says unable to retrieve data.
okay.
So there's something wrong somewhere. That's coming from the JavaScript.
Yeah,
Why don't we look at your code, starting with
okay.
the route file?
This is the route file.
Yeah, that looks good. How about the controller action? Oh, I'm sorry. At the top, could you go to the top of this file first? Let me see what you got up there.
Okay.
Okay, so you've got the right include file there.
Yeah, I include.
Okay. And then the action. All right, so you've got agency person, people type, people display job seekers, agency person, yep. And then render. Okay. Let's look at the concern file, job seekers viewer. Okay. Let's see. So we've got looks okay.
This one is also 4 underscore page, I think. So,
Oh, it's yeah, per underscore page.
yeah.
Ah, that could be a problem. Why don't you try to refresh your screen, see if that helps?
Yeah.
What's that? Have you seen that before?
I saw
Oh, that's
on my this page before. I did not see.
that's the bullet thing. It's complaining about n+1 queries.
Mm-hmm.
We can deal with that later. That's not something to be worried about right now. Okay, you still don't see anything there, and you're still getting an error there.
Yeah.
Let's go look at your partial assigned job seekers. Okay. So you see what we got. Okay, and we got that. Let's see. So let me see. I'm trying to look at my code and your screen at the same time, so I got to bounce back and
Okay.
forth. Yeah. Okay. Full name. So on the line 23.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no method called job seeker status short description. You've got a very long method name.
Mm-hmm.
So each job seeker, which is the JS, has a job seeker status because there's a belong to relationship. So it should be js.jobs job seeker status. And then job seeker status has a method called short description.
Okay.
So you'll need to job seeker dot job seeker status gives you the job seeker status object, and then you've got to invoke short description method on that object.
Like this.
No, just what you can do is replace the underscore with just a dot.
Okay.
So job seeker status, I think job seeker has a belong to relationship to job seeker status.
Mm-hmm.
So that means you have a method available to you called js.jobseekerStatus, which gives you the job seeker status that the JS belongs to.
Mm-hmm.
That object in turn has an instance method called short description, which returns the short description of the status itself, which is what you want to display.
Okay.
So let's see if there's anything else here. Can you scroll down a little bit? Let's look at the last section there. We have the paginate business. Oh, I guess I can see it pretty well now. Yeah, okay, so we'll paginate. Let me see. Get rid of that. Let's see, we've got param names, job seekers, CM page. Yep. Okay, the param name looks a little funny. It's got a colon in front of it, like it's a symbol, but it's a string, of course. So that param name,
This one?
yeah, the job seeker CM page. See the
Okay.
param name? I don't think it should have a colon in it because it's a string. It's not a symbol.
Okay, I will remove that symbol.
Yeah. And the param name, that param name also has to equal, let me look back at my documentation real quickly.
Okay.
The CM page. So can we go back and look at your, so that param name, job seeker CM page, it should be also present in your concern. So can you go back to job seekers viewer? No, it's right there in the left-hand side.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Oh, you do have a, okay, so that's okay. So job seeker CM page there is a symbol, and you're going to pass it in as a string.
Okay, here.
Yes, that's okay. So Rails will look for a string that's the same as that symbol, except it'll look for a string without the colon. So,
Okay.
all right, so it's good that we removed that too. See, so what else? What have we looked at so far? We've looked at, I guess the last thing would be, let's look at your home view, your agency people home view. See where you're setting up the pagination. So if we look at, yeah, so where's that? That's on line 11, right? Okay. All right, so we've got the ID there. Yep. Okay, and then the URL is, all right. So, so pagina line 13 has to be indented so it starts immediately under the %H3 line because it's part of the if clause there. I think, yeah, that's good. And then the line 14, the arguments to the helper file, the path helper function method, they should, so here you've got the arguments separated from the method. Anytime you actually use parentheses to enclose the argument in Ruby, the parentheses have to be immediately after the end of the method name. So it has to be people underscore path left parens. You can't have people underscore path space and then left parens, arguments, and right parens. It has to be right next to the method name. So yes, if you could just bring that and put it on the line 14. You can just hit back delete, can't you, to put it back there? Yeah. So you're going to need the parens.
Okay.
I'd put a space there, URL colon space, so it's more readable. Oops, why is it doing that?
If I put the space, it's going next line.
Okay, we'll pull the data, go to the left of data and go to the, remove some spaces to the left so you have enough room. A few more maybe, and then, okay. And now go ahead and put that space in there.
Yeah.
And then last, agency people path, you need a left parens there. Okay, so we got right parens, semicolon, or curly brace, curly brace. That looks okay. Okay, why don't you save that? And then, have we saved all the changes we've made so far?
Yeah.
Why don't you refresh your screen and see if that helps? Okay. So we're still having a problem then. Let me check on that ID. Check on that real quick. Okay. Let's see. Okay, your routes look okay. Your controller looks fine, I think. Yeah. Home has, let's. Let's go back. Why don't you go to your console where you're running the Rails server
Okay.
and just go to the just hit a few. Oh, did you just stop the Rails server?
Rail server?
Yeah, that's good. So it's starting. Now just hit carriage return a few times to get some space there. And then go back to your browser and refresh the screen. And then go back to your console. Yeah. Let's scroll up, see if we can see what's going on there. Okay, let's see this. Template error. Oh, right there. Uninitialized constant fields in people underscore type. Okay, let's go back and look at your partial then. Let's go look at your job seekers viewer. Oh, so line 19, when you have the word type there at the end of that, fields in people type should be all uppercase. You see, you got the constant right above that's defined, fields in people type. So save that. Let's go back to the console. So the reason I want to look at that is see what it's saying. It's saying uninitialized constant job seekers viewer fields in people underscore type, and type is capital T but lowercase ype. So it's a constant, so the name has to be exact, right?
Okay.
So it has to be all
Yeah, yeah.
uppercase. So that's what it's complaining about. So why don't you go and refresh that page again and see if that helps.
Just to display them.
Okay.
No data.
Okay. Well, at least we got a little.
Yeah. I'll, headers table. The error is gone, I think.
What's that?
The error is gone and there is no data. That's why pagination will not come in.
Why wouldn't? But you said you had data. You had a job seeker assigned as case manager for Chet, didn't you? In this.
Yeah, I had to check in admin.
Did you? You didn't do anything to that to change it, did you?
Patrick,
Yeah.
can I connect into the admin portal or?
Yeah. Why don't you do that?
Okay,
So log in and then connect up with.
that's admin.
Yep. So on the admin, pull down, go to it's agency and partner companies. And then scroll down to agency people. And then click on Chet's name there. And he does have a job seekers for case manager.
Yeah.
So what is going on there? So let's can we look one more time at your concern? the job
Okay.
seekers viewer. Okay, so we've got job seeker, paginate, job seekers, CM. Looks fine. Why don't you put a debug statement right between lines 4 and 5? Let's stop and see what this looks like. No, 4, between lines 4 and 5. Yeah, just go to the end of 4 and hit character turn and put by bug in there. Okay, now why don't you refresh your page? Actually, you better restart your server. Sometimes you have to restart it. Sometimes it has to be restarted so it sees the debug statement.
Okay.
Why didn't it stop at the debug statement? Go.
Again, it is showing unable to retrieve my intended value.
Oh, you know what? Can you go to your console? Your server's running? Okay, it did stop. The reason why it said it couldn't find anything because the JavaScript, the AJAX call timed out. And it says it didn't get anything back from the server. So it says an error. But really, it's just we stopped it. So type in people type here. Let's look at what that variable looks like. I think that's correct, right? And then type in agency person. Okay, it's agency person dot first name. Let's make sure it's Chet. No, first underscore name.
John.
Okay. So we're passing in the wrong agency person. We're passing in John Smith or whatever. We're supposed to be passing in Chet to this. So let's go look at your home view again. your home view for the agency person. Okay, let's just see agency path. Agency.id. Okay, doesn't hurt. Well, that looks good. Oh, wait a minute. That's not agency. It's supposed to be
Yeah, agency underscore person. I think.
supposed to be agency person. Yeah, that's it. So the first argument, no,
Yeah.
that argument there is fine. It's line 14, the first argument to that helper method at agency underscore person. Still got that problem with going to the next line. That you're gonna have to. No, you're gonna have to fix that. You can't go to the next line in your home page there. We're also gonna have to take out that debug statement to make it continue, because now it's just gonna spin.
Okay.
So you'll have to go back to the debugger. Excuse me, the editor.
It is showing also John on the agency.
Well, that's because we didn't continue. We haven't
Oh.
continued on, so it's stuck. So we'll go back to your editor though, because we're not ready to make it continue yet. So see, it wrapped the arguments onto the next line again, which we don't want to have. Ruby will not like that.
Okay.
So we're gonna have to make sure that the arguments are attached to the method call. Oh, you missed, oops. Need some more space. Okay, save that. In your editor, you've got wrap set, so that if it exceeds 80 characters, it automatically wraps your code line for you. You don't want that, because it's definitely messing you up. But anyway, you can worry about that later. Why don't you save that? Go back to agency people. No, go back to job seekers viewer. Let's remove that debug statement.
Remove this one.
Yeah. Save that. Go back to your console. Just hit C, the letter C, and then return. C for continue.
Okay.
Okay. Now go back and there you go. Okay, there's your job seeker.
Okay.
Now, the problem we have is that you're not seeing his status or his last login, and we should be seeing that because he does have a status. Let me check that my version of that is showing it. Yeah, so we should at least see his status of unemployed seeking. So we're gonna have to go look at your partial again one more time, see what's going on there. We assign job seeker. Yeah. So let's scroll down to. All right. So we've got js.jobseeker.short description. Let me make sure that looks good. Let's see. So we've got. Yeah. So we're seeing his name.
And the job seeker, you are told here also it is the job seeker status dot short or
No, that the label is fine that you've got there, and you're using that same label in your view. It's
okay.
kind of a long label. I wouldn't use such a long label, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Should work fine.
Yeah, that is already existing on that page. That's why I put it the same.
Yep. JS job seeker status, the short description. That should be working. So we're finding job seeker status, short description. I don't see anything wrong with that. Go back to job seekers viewer just one more time.
Job seeker?
Job seekers viewer.
Okay.
Okay, well, go back. Put that by bug statement back in here between lines 4 and 5. Let's stop in this one more time. And why don't you just stop and restart your server?
Okay.
So it sees the debug. Okay, go back and refresh your page. And go back to the console. No, the console, the Rails server. Okay, so let's look at agency person dot first name. Confirm it's Chet, which we know it is because we saw Tom Seeker, but just one more time. No, oh, okay. First, full name is fine too. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Do job seeker. See the line 8 where it says job seeker? Do job seeker, the class name. Oh, it has to be the class name, so capital J. And then capital C, capital S. And then dot your job seekers CM, that method call. Space agency person. Okay. So why don't you do that again, but assign the value. Can you hit the up arrow to get that command back? And then go hit left arrow to get all the way over to the left and just assign the return value of that to a variable. No, hit left arrow to get to the column 1. So you're going to type in something. And it's JS equals or something like that. And then hit carriage return. Okay, so JS bracket 0 bracket. So it's an array, so you're going to get the 0th element. There you go. Let's look at that. So that's job seeker ID, etc. So JS 0, just like you did before. Dot job seeker status. No, that's going to be, this is an instant method, so it'll be lowercase. Job underscore seeker underscore status. Dot short description. Underscore. Okay, so sure enough, that job seeker does not have a description, but I would have thought in the seeds file we've added a description for that. So anyway, I think what we found is it's working as it's supposed to. Okay. Let's look at the seeds file. Let's just see for that. I would have thought that there would have been a status assigned to each job seeker. And that's Tom Seeker, right? Okay, there it is, line 226. Isn't that who it is? Tom Seeker, yeah, and it's got a job seeker status of JSS1, and that's defined to be, what's that? That's on line 15, I think, of the file. See, line 229, it's assigning the status to @JSS1.
Yeah.
So that's defined further up in the file. I think if you look at line 15,
Like?
Yeah, line 15 in this file. So JSS1 is job seeker status dot first. So where is job seeker status being defined? Interesting. So can you go back to your console there? Why don't you just continue on? So we've learned what we learned, which is the job seeker doesn't have a status assigned. So just type C in character turn. And why don't you get out of Rails server right now? And then do Rails space C. So we'll start the Rails console so we can poke around. It loads your Rails application, so it knows your database, etc. when you do this. It'll come back with a prompt. So here, do job seeker status, the class name, so it's each word is capitalized. No, just the first letter, yep. Capital S. And it's, yep. And dot all, let's say. So we'll look at all the records. I don't think you'll have any records in there, but let's see. You do have records in there. And the first record is job seeker status ID 1. Short description is, it looks like it got short. Oh, look at that. See the ID 1?
Yeah, description.
See what says on line, the end of the second line, it says short description. It goes on to the third line and it's nil.
Okay.
So,
Nil.
yeah. Does all of these guys have short descriptions of nil? Why is that? I don't know why. Let me see. Let me run Rails console in my environment.
Okay.
Rails console, and I will do what you did. So job seeker status. Find the first one. And I have a short description called unemployed seeking. So in my database, the short description field for each of the job seeker status records is defined with a two-word description. For some reason, yours does not have that. Now, where's that being assigned? There we go. Go look in your database directory. Let's look at the migration files. Go to the last one. Let's see. So the last one there where it says update job. The very last migration file in that directory?
Yeah,
Click on-
update job
yeah,
seeker
just
state.
let's look at that in the editor. Okay, you see where it has, it's adding the job seeker statuses? And it's including the short description when it adds these to the database? So for some reason, this migration file didn't execute in your environment. So what I'd recommend is this. You just, let me see, let me bring the chat up. So what I would do is this. I would do rake in one, just, you can do it all in one command.
Okay.
Effective sin. Just run the command. So you'll drop the database, you'll run all the migrations again, and then you'll run the seed file. That should populate, the migration should populate the short description for the status values. And the seed file will, of course, populate everything else in the database. Actually, just try db migrate by itself. Is there any, and see if there's any outstanding migrations. I doubt it because Rails server won't run. It'll come back with nothing. Yep. Okay, just run the whole series of commands I typed in there. So I don't know what happened to the short description, but we'll hopefully restore it. Okay, those are your migrations. Okay, those will look good. So it looks like short description got populated there. The seed file takes a while to run, as you know. There's a lot of data being populated. I think your code works though. The short description not showing up is because it's not in the database. But other than that, the code is doing what it's supposed to do. Yeah. When this comes back, we should just start Rails server. You're gonna have to log in again because when you drop your database, it's your session goes away, so it doesn't know that you're logged in.
Skills created 28.
Yeah.
Before I start this branch, I did everything DB migrate and.
Yeah. So I don't know why short description is not present in the database.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. But anyway, let's see if we can get them back. So we found 2 or 3 small problems with the code, right? I think the key thing there, of course, is, and I know it's hard sometimes when you look at the code, it's those little mistyped things that really get you all the time.
Yeah.
So I find just using things like debugger or watching what the server spits out when you execute an action, a controller action, see if you see any clue there. Things like that will help a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'll just mistyping, and you know, it's hard to see those sometimes, but those we got to be very careful, of course.
Debugger is our friend.
Yeah, debugger. I use it all the time.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. It'd be pretty much impossible to do this without it. without printing out a bunch of variables, and it would just be a mess. So it's great. And Rails console is very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you go and you can poke around in your code. You can poke around in the database. It's
Mm-hmm.
great. Let's see, so on company people here. Where else we're gonna go?
Just created 220.
Okay. Company people. Okay. What else has got to do? Right now, I think it's creating jobs, something like that. Okay, got the job seekers.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back in Rails console and make sure that we have the short description defined. Why don't you just do job seeker status dot find. Find. No, just do find space and then 1. Let's just get the first record in the table. And
Unemployed.
so short description is defined. Good. So exit out of there.
Yeah.
So why don't you exit out of there and start your Rails server. And then go back to your browser and log in as Jet again. Do we still? Oh, we still have a debug statement in your
Yeah.
in your concern. Yep. Forgot about that.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. Now go back to your console. No, don't do that yet. Go back to your console. You're going to have to hit continue. Hit C. Yeah. Now you can go back and refresh the page. And we won't be stopped by the debugger. Here we go. There's status.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay, so that's working. The database is recovered.
Yeah.
It's got everything we expect to see. And now you're not seeing pagination because I think you're saying you want 10 rows per
Yeah,
page.
one record is there.
So you won't see pagination appear, pagination links, until you get 10 rows. Oh, excuse me, until
Yeah.
you get 11, until it actually has to paginate.
Yeah.
So what I would suggest is add more job seekers to chat as the case manager until you get 11 or 12 or 13, so that you can force the pagination to happen. And then you want to make sure that the pagination is done with JavaScript, which means when you go from page to page, it doesn't go to the top of the page every time. It doesn't reload the page every time. With
Okay.
JavaScript, it'll just reload the div that contains the 10 rows of the next page or the previous page or whatever page you want.
Okay.
So it doesn't jump around and go to the top of the page each time. So I think I would suggest from this point, you want to add more, maybe in seeds or somewhere, add more job seekers assigned to Chet as case manager. Get 15 or 20 or whatever. Make sure that pagination is kicking in, because you've got more than 10, so you can paginate back and forth now. Make sure it's make sure it's not reloading the page every time, but it's just, and the way you can tell is it doesn't jump to the top of the page every time you hit a pagination link.
Okay. Partial page uploads.
Yep, it's just the partial that gets replaced in the DOM in the page itself, not the whole page.
Yeah.
That's why we're doing this, to make it a better user experience. So you can get to that point, and then maybe tomorrow. Oh, you're not going to be around tomorrow.
Yeah. Monday.
Okay. Are you going to want to work on your RSpec tests tomorrow or something?
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah.
Let me.
Monday onwards, they have holidays. I don't need to pick up. I will get some time after Scrum.
Okay. Let me think about that in terms of RSpec. So generally, we don't want to test the pagination itself is working correctly, because that's a whole subsystem that's already been tested.
Okay.
By Hua. He built it, and he's got some nice tests for it.
Okay.
So what you want to do, of course, you want to make sure that in your acceptance test, your Cucumber test, that you see the job seekers assigned as case manager to check on this page, obviously. Let's see. Well, let me think about that. Maybe I can, if you're going to work on it this weekend or tomorrow, you're going to need some advice on testing, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me think about that and get back to you on Slack.
Okay.
Okay, and you won't be able to make the Scrum tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I won't be at home at that time. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. So let me just think about testing, and I'll write you something up on Slack.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Patrick.
All right, you're welcome.
Okay,
Made some
bye.
progress, so that's great. Okay, have a good night.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Bye now.